So, let's start with the story, which took place at this picture. It was a citywide installation that set true stories in the place that they happened. We did it for Brighton Festival in 2007. It was a unique project that featured 41 stories of narrative that were found, edited, designed, and set in the place that they actually took place in. And his thing is all about unmade-up stories. He likes true stories. I'm not sure if he termed this phrase, but he certainly introduced me to it, this idea of found stories. The way in which it worked, William would spend a lot of his days just hanging around on street corners, you know, in places that we had decided we were going to install something, and he would stop people in the street, almost like one of those people that do a questionnaire, and ask them if they had a story about the place, you know, and remarkably, you know, he would get stories from people, and he quite often would have more than one story. We just kind of liked the asymmetry of the number, you know, it's kind of prime number, it's slightly odd, and it kind of intrigued people, which we really liked. That was one about the we have the Gay Parade Pride down in Brighton once a year. So that was about a police officer getting kissed by some girls on Pride, hence the colours. This one was quite interesting because we actually witnessed this happening, and some of them are kind of really funny, and some of them are very, very ordinary. This one is a drunken conversation at a kebab shop at 2 in the morning where this guy is painting himself blue to try and track this girl. And it's all based around an old Art Deco RF control tower. But the process has involved, it's a very, very collaborative process. You know, it involves quite a few of us kind of working together to get things done. Now, these are all the writers. And back in October, these guys were commissioned. We decided it's going to have a series of dialogue and stories. And it started off with the slang of RAF pilots. So all these expressions that you can see around here, I've got to are terms that RAF pilots use, and it's only pilots that use these. It wasn't anyone in the RAF. It's very specifically RAF. And this is the kind of thing I discovered when I do the research to a place, and it's very surprising to me because I didn't know anything about this, and it's got some really, really lovely things. I mean, one of my favourites is penguin. This is the other 7-metre roundel, and the plan here, we all agreed it was these kind of haikus, this idea of creating a trail of haikus going round and round the sea. This central grey area is going to be seating. A bit boring, really. So I took a trip to Durham to do a scouting mission to kind of see the place and see if I could learn anything about the place and see where there might be a good place to do something. And I like to do that because there's something about being somewhere and trying to soak up the wherever you are, wherever it might be, kind of the environment, see if there's kind of an energy to the place, see what I didn't quite know what the form of the stories were, but it was going to be all about language, all about dialect, all about stuff that I might not understand. So anywhere in the country we'll go, and there will be a colloquialism. People will speak the language of that region, and quite often it might not be understood by someone outside that region. So we would say something like, okay, well this is, okay, we're going to make up a story. So where does this story start? And so one would say, well, it starts at this pub in this place. And say, okay, well, what are you doing there? What time of day is it? It's a Saturday and it's midday and we're meeting because we're going to go on the girls' day out on the coast. Great, okay, so where are you going? We're going here. And then before you know, what actually starts happening is other people start interjecting. And before you know it, we're having to try and keep up with them. And we had to sort of line up these projectors with the art that I was creating that would actually hit the holes as perfectly as we could. But what we realised is that the CNCing these holes was going to be massively, massively expensive. And we couldn't afford it within the budget. So what Martin's dedication to the job decided he was going to drill them by hand. One of my favourite moments is when I saw four students come up, and they all took a face, they all took a side, and they stood there, and they read each face out to each other. So one would read one, another would read another, and they kind of read this, and so you get this kind of audio thing going on as well as they were reading it, and they would just spontaneously burst out laughing as one person would say something and another person would say something. Because a lot of these expressions were really, really funny. They would be expressions that people would completely recognise. Thank you very much.